Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, the classic lesser known classics. This is episode number 3392 and Doubleshot number 3286. We have two Star Trek traits. The first one is sadly the last one. We have Star Trek New Visions, Volume 8. Collecting the last two issues released for New Visions, 21 and 22, along with Star Trek The Cage one-shot. You're thinking, wait, The Cage? Yeah, John Byrne basically adapted The Cage for a photograph comic. For the first story, Enemy of My Enemy, where it features the return of the Klingon from Errand of Mercy. Yeah, this issue here is basically a loose follow-up to that, so we have Core where they fight each other briefly, and then what looks like a Gorn shows up. And they proceed to escape. Yeah, and apparently this alien species is trying to break the forced Organian treaty between the Klingons and the Federation. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you have these two work together, and they basically they're these weird alien. They're not Gorn, except that they're known to Kirk is known to them because he's famous, because of course he is. And then they fight them, and then Core gets injured protecting Kirk. He's healed and dropped up with his fellow Klingons. He probably doesn't like the fact yet that they take out his uniform and put in this blue thing. And then we have this one-page story here called The Rime Ancient Mariner. It's a quick, a few-page story. It's a story featuring, believe it or not, Captain Pike. I'm guessing this is probably not long after the events of The Cage. So we see this spaceship with this professor. It's a quick little story here. And then we have Unexpected Yesterday, where in this comic book, we have the return of Gary 7 and the Guardian of Forever. You're like, really? Yeah, really. So, they go to the planet. Of course, something's going to the planet, so they all beam down. So you have Kirk, Spock, and McCoy beam down. And of course, apparently, with the Guardian, and something gets fixed in the timeline, and then of course they end up, and of course then we have a young, of course they go through the Guardian Forever portal, and is this the 21st century? I'm looking at the cars like, yeah, it is. I mean, look at these cars. It's definitely the early 21st century. And yeah, and then of course, this is a really cool thing here. So then they go through the doors that lead to Gary 7's apartment, and then they meet with Gary 7, which of course apparently he has no idea who the heck these two are. And you're probably thinking, wait a minute, how the heck does Gary 7 not know who Kirk is? They met back in Assignment Earth. The episode that was supposed to be, get this, Gene Roddenberry said this specific episode, this was the end of season 2 of the show. According to what I heard about this episode, for this particular episode, this is the episode Gene Roddenberry wanted to be a backdoor pilot to another TV show. NBC wanted to do something else, but he did want to do this, and, well, it got follow-ups with novels and some comic books. Yeah. I think the actor who plays Gary, so I think he's since passed away. I haven't checked it at all. For some reason, his assistant, Roberta, she is not here. And she has generally been in pretty much every single story that features Gary 7. Yes. Also, interesting enough, Byrne decided to not make a photocopy version of the Vulcan from the episode of Enterprise, because this came out long after Enterprise aired, because there was a Star Trek novel where Gary Seven met the Vulcan who basically stayed, who basically got crashed on Earth back in the 1950s, and decided to basically just, well, blend in with humanity. He basically was very quiet. He didn't make a splash at all. Yes, and the thing is, I'm sure that the thing is, in public, he had to cover his ears because no one knows what the Vulcan is. And then when the Vulcans came to pick him up, he stayed, and there were two left. And one of those two was actually T'Pol's great-grandmother. So after debriefing Seven of how the heck they know each other, and basically they work together to stop these aliens from attempting an alternate timeline. It's a really fun story. I enjoyed this. And then, of course, someone that Gary knows, the scientist. It's overall really, really good. I think, oh, is the actual thing? Yeah, it is. And then we have the photograph comic of the Cage. Yes, basically, they actually recreate the Cage. I'm actually quite surprised that John Byrne did this, where he just did a photograph comic of the original pilot of the episode. It's virtually the same episode. It's like watching the episode with photocomic form. It's virtually the same. It's not much different per se. They made no changes to it. It's the same thing. It is good. I think a lot of people, so they saw this one shot. I guess that when IDW releases this photograph one shot, I guess and then we have One Little Dream, where this is the end of the series, where you have John Byrne think of something, and then all of a sudden he's visited his room by Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. I should point out, though, this comic was written in the 2010s. I should point out, though, at the time this comic came out, Kirk was almost still left alive. Yeah, Shatner was still alive. Spock was long dead. He died back. I think it was like 2011. And McCoy has been dead since the 1990s. So yeah, you have Byrne go on a little adventure with the crew. With this, he's having a lot of fun, and the last character who talks to him is believe it or not, McCoy. And that's it. That's New Voyages. A quite interesting book. A book I really enjoy. I actually own a couple of the trades of this thing. This book was fantastic. I give this book a 10 out of 10. Final thoughts? Just a great comic. So, next up we have is Star Trek by Mike Johnson, Volume 4. This book collects issues 13 and 16 of the Star Trek comic book. Unlike the other trades, which were remakes of the episodes, first one is not. This is called Hondorf. So, this first issue here is a standalone issue focused on an original character who debuted in Star Trek 2009, where you have Kirk and this guy just chatting with each other. It's basically a development for him and flashbacks to the movie. Kind of interesting when they did this, where basically they work together. Of course, he meets with a beautiful alien woman who's like an elf, and then he sort of like picked the stuff that and of course apparently him and of course like, yeah, it seems like it's kind of revealed in the book that he had a thing for her, but her has eyes only for Spock. It's really interesting. And Chen died. That was a friend of his. And then we have an issue called Kesser's Story. Yeah, this is a little alien who first popped in the movie, who appeared in Into Darkness. I think he did appear in Beyond. It's just a little story for him. That's kind of all the issue is. Kind of basically stuff he's up to prior to meeting Scotty, and then afterwards he's with Scotty until the events of the movie, and it's just a story for him. Then we come to Mirrored. Oh boy, it's the mirror. Get this. It's a mirror version of the Ultimate Prime universe. I'm like, okay. We start off with, looks like it's Scotty and Bones just chatting in the bar. And they mention Old Man Spock. And then, yeah. And then we see, get this, we see Spock overseeing the destruction of the Capitol on Kronos. Because Starfleet, this of course is the Terran timeline, yes. And so, apparently, the Terran Empire has conquered the Klingons. Something they never did in the original Mirror Universe. And then we see Counselor Garak, Gorkin. Yes, Chancellor Gorkin, who did meet Spock in the main timeline. Except in this comic, he freaking beheaded him. And then, of course, apparently in this universe, in this version of the Mirror Universe, where Spock has got his goatee, and instead of regular uniforms, like B-hook armor, and it's a bit different. Biggest difference is Spock is the captain, and Kirk is the first officer. Now you're probably thinking, wait a minute, the main character's first officer, and somebody who's not supposed to be the captain is the captain. Doesn't sound very familiar. It does. Because it's written to be like the episode A Mirror Darkly. One of the best episodes, season 4. It is just the cast having a lot of fun, being evil versions themselves. Oh, and also Kirk having a scar across his face. Just like Archer did. Yes. Anglos of all places. Or a Penthe, which here looks a lot different than it did when it appeared in episode Enterprise and it appeared on this country. Where he meets up with Nero, is like, oh yeah, you killed my dad. So then he proceeds to beat him up and break his neck. And then stills the Narada, takes off his uniform, and tells Bones and Scotty to take off their uniforms. And then we finally see her in this comic, which, still black. But for some reason, they give her a tomboy haircut, and they dress her up like she's from China. Yeah, I don't really get... this is a weird change for her. Yes, she's with Spock, obviously. Oh yeah, Captain Spock, and of course, basically, then he proceeds to beam over almost the entire... everybody from the Enterprise, who basically got the uniforms. And everyone beams over, and then, here's something. Kirk proceeds to destroy the Enterprise. Yes, you heard me correctly. Ultimate Prime Mirror Universe Kirk blows up the Enterprise. Which, he did that in the main timeline. He didn't do it in the Mirror Universe. That was the Prime timeline. That kind of happened in Beyond. But this is made before Beyond, so there's that. The ship was destroyed, and of course, basically, they wanted to go to Vulcan. And of course, they get contacted by a senator who's got they say senator, he's got a start off uniform. Yeah, it's obviously a Terran Empire, because of course of all the sword with the planet thing. Yeah, it's obviously Terran Empire. Yep, and like he's taking control. And it's interesting the fact that he's basically converted the Narada into with the modern technology, because if anybody's seen the movie, this ship was basically platforms inside the ship. And then we have a black hole, and we have the jellyfish. That's the name of the spaceship, believe it or not. That's what they call it in the movie. And it's captured, and on board is Prime Universe Spock. Yep. Yeah, this is basically like, what if Spock did not end up in the alternate timeline, the one we see in 2009? What if he ended up in the Terran Empire? He's like, it's to get a prisoner. He's like, and Kirk's like, you're in the hands of Terran Empire, old man. He's like, stop talking about Starfleet. It's like, what? Like, what the hell is Starfleet? Like, stop talking about Starfleet. I'm gonna lose my temper. Tell me where you came from. I'm sorry. Encourage you, be honest. And Spock's like, this is Prime Spock's like, tear up our course. I have made a terrible mistake. So you've heard of the Empire. What's your plan, old man? You hero? The 202? I assure you Nero was no ally. At least not anymore. Talking riddles. Tell me what I want to know. Your ship is a lot valuable than you are. All I could tell you is the truth. I am from an alternate reality. A reality with no Terran Empire. It plays with the United Federation planet, Alliance Advance, whatever. But you've heard of the Empire. Unfortunately, yes. Our parallel realities have crossed each other before. But in my reality, James Kirk was a brave and honorable man. That hurts my feelings, believe me. They wipe out my reality? No. Not a bomb. No, use wisely, it's unstable. So basically comes the idea to basically blow up Vulcan. So, breaking the heart. And then proceeds to fire Vulcan. Yellow air put out. Yeah. And then the determines to stop. It's like, her, and of course, yeah, she's killed somebody. I can't tell who. Yep, it's like wrong reality. And of course, basically, he's shot by Mirror Spock, which of course they are working together. And I think it's like Sarek is like, yeah, I think it's supposed to be Mirror versus Sarek, like Spock and Spock. It's the most usual partnership, Emily. Effective one. Captain Herg, you read me? Peace out, she's not captain. It's like, yep, so set a course for Earth. And then, of course, the thing is for her to start back normal. And that's it. This book was fun. I love this book. Just amazing 4 issues. Okay. I give book a 10 out of 10. Awesome. I think there's 5 more trades left this one. Yep. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Particular view. Please be sure to like and subscribe to notifications. Next up, well, that's a video tonight because, well, it's getting kind of late. I think I'm working tomorrow at 6 a.m. So I'll see you all tomorrow for more Kamen Rider. Okay.